Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here covering new PC releases for the week of March the 18th to the 24th. And holy hell, there are a lot of them. There are actually so many games coming out this week that I'm not going to go into crazy detail for some of the smaller ones. I just plan to give you a brief synopsis because, once again, there's a lot of games that came out this week. Let's start on Monday, March the 18th. We saw the release of Cart Life, a monochrome business life simulator. DLC Quest, a platforming action game where you collect coins to purchase DLC, basically unlocking various things within the game. It's kind of funny. Incredipede has you taking control of a creature with the ability to sprout limbs while attempting to solve puzzles. Monster Loves You is a Tamagotchi-style game with RPG elements where you take control or you take care of little monsters. Shattered Haven is an environmental puzzle game about family, grit, and survival. And then Ultratron, the most recent retro-style arcade game from Puppy Games. Moving on to Tuesday, March the 19th, we saw the release of The Walking Dead Survival Instinct. This is the survival, first-person action adventure game based on the Walking Dead television series, where you follow the events before the show with the Dixon brothers. So you're basically playing as Daryl and Merle, and you're trying to survive the zombie apocalypse as it starts. Now, I did take a look at this game with a first 40 video, and I am hoping to follow it up with some final thoughts as well, because I think this is worth a game. This is a game that's worth at least looking at in its entirety. There are some really great things that they do, but there's also some really terrible things about the game, besides the way it looks, which I know I continue to harp on. I can't stand it, but there's some cool things, but lots of the game is really bad as well. I don't know that I would suggest it either, so if you're thinking about buying it, you might want to wait for a sale, or at least until my final thoughts. Also coming out, or also that came out on Tuesday, was DLC for Assassin's Creed 3, the Betrayal DLC. It's the second episode in the Tyranny of King Washington series, where Washington goes mad with power and rules as a tyrannical king. On Tuesday, we also saw Worms Armageddon, the third installment in the Worms series. Weird Worlds Return to Infinite Space, a space exploration game set in a distant future in a distant galaxy. And Oregon Trail, the director's cut, which is basically Oregon Trail, but with zombies. Today, on Wednesday, March the 20th, we're seeing the release of Retrograde, a space shooter that is played backwards, basically from ending to beginning, and you literally unshoot your weapons. It's kind of funny. And then Alien Spidy, a two-dimensional platformer featuring an alien spider. Thursday, March the 21st, Trials Evolution Gold, a skill-based motorcycle platforming game. The Gold Edition contains all the content of the original game, along with tracks and skill games from Trials HD, which basically doubles the game's content. I've heard really good things about Trials Evolution, so I'm actually thinking about taking a look at the Gold Edition coming to Steam. And then finally, on Friday, March the 22nd, we're seeing the release of Resident Evil 6 on the PC. This is the most recent entry in the Resident Evil series, featuring 3 campaign stories that follow Leon S. Kennedy, Chris Redfield, and a newcomer Jake Muller. The game first released on consoles last October and was met with poor reviews for being buggy, drawn out, and simply poorly designed. For that reason, my expectations for the PC port are not very high, and I really don't plan to take a look at it because I pretty much expect this game to be garbage as it was on the consoles. So I don't plan to look at it. Plenty of reviews online, although they don't speak for the PC port. It's going to give you a good idea of what to expect. Alright, so that is all of them. Quite the long list. I know many of those titles I just briefly mentioned. Basically, the smaller indie titles I didn't really feel like going into too much detail about. As far as I'm concerned, the big releases this week were Resident Evil 6, Trials Evolution Gold, The Walking Dead Survival Instinct, and then of course there was that DLC for Assassin's Creed 3. Tons of small indie games, not to discredit them. I'm sure some of them are going to be really great. In fact, I hope to take a look at least 1 or 2 of them, but there were just so many games this week, I couldn't talk in depth about all of them, or else this video would have been forever long. Now let's go ahead and talk about my planned content for the week. So once again, I did already take a look at The Walking Dead Survival Instinct. I did a first 40 video. Lots of bad things, but also some surprisingly good things with that game. I think just the feeling of tension that is built within it is really awesome. There's some pretty interesting game mechanics as well. I like the collection and trying to manage your resources with a small inventory, but all around, I I don't think it's that fun of a game. So anyways, I did that first 40. I'm hoping to do a final thoughts, so I'm going to try to finish the game this week and give you guys my final impressions. Trials Evolution Gold I plan to just get because it looks like a fun game and I've heard lots of good things about it. Also, I'm in the Neverwinter Beta Early Press Access. I've already done a video showing some of the Trickster Rogue, and I hope to do some more of a playthrough with him and give you guys a little bit more content. And then again, potentially I'll be covering 1 or 2 of the indie games that were released this week as well. We're going to keep on going with the Tomb Raider Let's Play. There will be no Elder Scrolls Online podcast this Friday because myself and Jesse Cox are actually both attending PAX East, where we're going to see all sorts of games, but we're also going to see and get some playtime with the Elder Scrolls Online as well. I'm not sure if I'll be able to give you guys any coverage of that event. We'll have to see. I'm going to bring a camcorder. I don't know if there's going to be any direct capture available or not, but if so, I'll try to get you guys some footage. At the very least, I'll have something to talk about when it comes to that game, and plenty of others, because hey, it's PAX East. There's going to be lots of games there, and it's actually quite exciting. I can't wait to go. Friday Night Magic, that's a new thing I started last week. I'll make sure to get that recorded before I leave for PAX East and gift you guys one of those videos up. And then the Force Feed, I'm going to be going Monday, Wednesday, Friday as of now. I think that this is going to be a good compromise. I've been sort of weighing the options in my head in terms of what to do with the show, because I really love doing it and I want to do it consistently, but doing it 5 days a week was just really difficult. It takes 3 to 4 hours, and that's a significant amount of time, especially when I'm also trying to find the time within the day to play these games and cover these games, having to do 4 hours of a show every day. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. If you guys look at the channel, very rarely did I get a full 5 episodes up on Monday through Friday. So I think if I do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I think that this could be a good schedule. I'm sorry for bouncing around so much with this. I'm just trying to, you know, I'm learning basically by trial and error here. You know, it's just me. I don't have some crew working for me. I don't have some advisory board to tell me how to do things. And I'm learning through the process of producing content for this channel. And I'm trying to figure out the best way to do time management, how many projects I can manage at once with the amount of time that I have in the day. And then also try to have a life, which, you know, to be honest with you, for the past year and a half or 2 years, I really haven't. I'm just so tied up with work and it takes up so much time that I don't have much free time to speak of whatsoever. I mean, I usually finish working at 8 o'clock at night, and then I eat dinner and watch a show or 2 with my girlfriend, and then we go to bed, and that's that. So I guess the point is time management is something that can be really difficult when you take on as much as I do, and if you just have crappy time management skills like I do. So anyways, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's the point. That's what I'm going to be looking at for the schedule for the Force Feed. I think that could work really, really well, because it'd give me Tuesday and Thursday to really just focus on games, especially Tuesdays with being big days for new releases. So that's that. Enough jibber-jabbering for me. We're going to wrap up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. We have been covering new PC releases here, as well as my planned content for the week. If you like the content, please subscribe. And as always, keep watching and keep owning.